I'm Larry Holt, Multimatic, Chief Technical Officer. This is the GT Mark II, and this is actually the ultimate performance. This is the ultimate performance version of the GT. It answers the question, what can be done without rules? We spent, when we did the original GT road car 4 years ago, we were constrained by global emissions, global safety, all of the normal things that you need to do in a road car program. There's some level of compromise from a ride handling perspective because people have to drive this to restaurants. So then we went to the racing car. Racing car you would think would be the ultimate performance version of the car, but that's actually not the case because racing in this day and age is controlled by balance of performance. Balance of performance makes sure that all the cars in the class can run at the same lap time. So Ford GT had quite an inherent advantage in its design, but that wasn't allowed to be fully exploited because we were racing against other cars that didn't have those advantages. So they apply something called balance of performance. To give you an example of what balance of performance means is the road car GT runs 650 horsepower. 3 weeks ago at Le Mans, the racing car was constrained to 495 horsepower. So we weren't in a position to be able to show the true performance of the GT. So this is the car that answers that question. And if you have a quick look at the overall size and shape of the car and what the Aero looks like, you'll notice that it's got a really large dual element rear wing. It's got louvered front fenders. It's got a front splitter that sticks out further than the road car. It has flicks on the front here, dive planes that the road car doesn't have. It's got a big air scoop on the roof that the road car doesn't have. And all these things combine to ultimately generate downforce on this car that's 4 or 5 times greater than the road car. And in fact, it's about 400 pounds greater than the race car. One of the things that we've done is here, the rear wing on the car, on the race car is constrained to a certain size. There's a box that has to fit in. This is a dual element, a main plane and a smaller wing, dual element with a big side plate. So that's a way larger wing, makes about 250 pounds more than the race car wing. The road car wing is even smaller than that. To balance that at the front of the car, one of the things that's not allowed in racing is you can't louver the front fenders like this, but here we don't have those rules. So we've louvered the front fenders, and that releases the pressure inside the front wheelhouse and reduces the lift on the front of the car by about 100 pounds. And we go to the front splitter. We were allowed on the race car an evolution of the original design after the second year. We did a complete Aero package for that, what they call an Evo. We never implemented it again because of the balance of performance. And in this car, it's finally seen the light of day. So this splitter here is the Evo splitter from the race program that we never implemented. So it's got greater downforce even than the race car. And by doing those things, we've balanced the car. In the back, we've taken the engine, like I said, the road car engine is about 650 horsepower. This car is running 700 plus horsepower, and we've removed 130 kilograms of weight from the road car. So we have much higher power, much lower weight, much higher downforce, and the final addition is that it'll run on a slick racing tire rather than a treaded tire. Here at Goodwood today, we're being limited to running it on a treaded tire, but it'll have a slick tire. It has a 19-inch wheel. It runs the carbon brakes from the road car rather than the steel brake package from the race car. So it has all of the high performance components from the road car. It has all the higher performance stuff from the race car put together into a car that has significantly more performance than either the road car or the race car. The interior has a minimized content from the road car. If you look closely, it's got a full race seat. Not only does it have a full race seat, we also have a full certified race seat for the passenger side. So if a guy who buys one of these has a brave enough friend, he can take him out on a track, not for me, but for a brave friend, you've got a full certified race seat on the other side. It has the full FIA roll cage that the race car has. So the road car has always had the FIA roll cage up in the top of the car. That's actually the main structure of a Ford GT, is an FIA race cage. But below that, we've also got the A bar and these side bars. So the protection, the level of protection in this car is significantly higher than, it's basically a race car. It's an FIA race car. Dashboard is the same dashboard that's in the road car, but completely reprogrammed. And then if you look carefully in the center, there's a Motec data acquisition system, so that you can get all the data off the car when you're doing track day days. The steering wheel is a racing steering wheel, almost identical to what's in the race cars, but all the switches and everything on them are the road car switches. So you have all the functionality that's in the road car, but on a race car steering wheel. That's part of the weight reduction in the car. The air conditioning's gone, although there's an option for air conditioning. So there's a lot of the comfort and convenience stuff is removed, but that's what you have for a track day car. That's how we got the 150 kilos out of it. So we've removed the two-position ride height and suspension system of the road car. It sits at the lower of the two ride heights at 70 millimeter, and all of the hydraulic controls have been removed from it, which is again part of the 150 kilos that we took out. It makes a simpler system, and it's at that performance level at all times. It's got actually slightly stiffer springing even than the track day version of the road car. When you put all that together, you end up with a car that's significantly quicker on a lap of any track by 10 or 12 seconds than the road car. That's all I got.